Good morning and welcome to Friday on Main Street TV. It is very much a TGIF day, I think, today after yesterday's excitement and everything that was going on with the level 3 here in Jackson County. So we are happy to be back in the studio today, and we are here with Dr. Rick Billman, and he is going to talk to us about a very important subject about eye care and eye health, and we are going to get into that right after a word from our sponsors.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
And we are back. Hi, Dr. Rick.
Hello there, Cheryl.
So we are very lucky today. We have Dr. Rick Billman in the house, and this month is Glaucoma Awareness Month. And so I asked him to come in and talk to us about glaucoma and what causes it, what to look for, the treatments, all of those kinds of things. So thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
So
I thought we would talk about this morning maybe 3 or 4 different ideas about glaucoma. Glaucoma is a complex eye disease that can cause irreversible and permanent vision loss. So I thought we would talk about first what glaucoma is, who's at risk, how's it diagnosed, and some prevention and treatment. Glaucoma is basically a disease of the optic nerve inside a person's eye. And there's 2 different forms of glaucoma. One is, the more common form is called open angle, and the more selective or less common form is called narrow angle. So we'll talk briefly about the narrow angle and then more about the open angle because that's more common. Glaucoma is what's called the silent thief of vision loss. There's no real symptoms early in the disease. It progresses, and then in the later stages, there's some definite vision loss. And like I said, this is more or less permanent. It's irreversible. To understand what it is, we need to talk a little bit about the ocular anatomy. So I know we have a slide. That's excellent. Very good. Thank you for putting the slide up for me there. That is just an anatomical picture of an eye. And you have the front part of the eye. It's called the cornea, the clear part. As you go backwards, you have the colored part of the iris. You have the round part, which changes with light illumination, called the pupil. We have a lens that focuses the light. And then we have the retina in the back, which the light rays are focused on, and the optic nerve. Not to get too much into detail, but I think we need to talk about it a little bit, in that in the front part of the eye, between the cornea and the iris, there is a solution called aqueous. And it fills the space between the front part of the eye, the cornea, and the iris. And this fluid, this aqueous fluid, is being constantly produced, and it's constantly draining out of your eye. That is just the normal physiology on it. And what glaucoma, the open angle form of glaucoma, does is that as you age, glaucoma is more common in the older population above age 60, is that the fluid, the aqueous fluid, is constantly being produced, but the drainage out of the aqueous fluid as you get older is restricted. So what this does, you have basically too much aqueous fluid inside your eye, and that raises the eye pressure significantly above normal. The normal eye pressure, when you have your eyes tested, usually always there is a test for eye pressure. The normal eye pressure is 10 to 21 millimeters. When you have an eye pressure of 30 or 32, that is outside the normal range of eye pressure. So what happens is that this higher eye pressure over time damages the optic nerve in the back of your eye, and that causes loss of your peripheral vision. That's what the main problem with glaucoma is, that it's very slow, the open angle form is, and over time it constricts your peripheral vision to where it's like, instead of having your normal full field of peripheral vision, end-term glaucoma, it'd be like looking through a little pinhole. You have no peripheral vision, and that is the endpoint of the open angle form of the eye disease. There's no real symptoms with the open angle form. There's no pain, no itching of your eye, no redness of the open angle form. It's just a very slow progression of damage to your optic nerve.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think I have a video that kind of shows that kind of
Yeah,
coming
go ahead,
in.
definitely.
Yeah. Adrian, we have that video. The things that I saw on the link that you sent me was just kind of gradual progression
Right.
in until there is nothing left. So
Right. That is the end point of the final vision, part of the vision loss with the open angle form of glaucoma. As the light goes into a person's eye, let's talk a little bit about how sight works. As light goes into a person's eye, it hits the retina of the back of the eye. The retina has a lot of photoreceptors, rods and cones, that turn the light energy into electrical energy. And then the eye has over 1 million nerves that transmit this electrical energy all through. They go right through the optic nerve to the sight center in the brain. So as the eye pressure is high over long periods of time, it damages these nerve fibers that transmit the light energy into electrical energy, and that causes the vision loss. Let's talk a little bit about who is at risk. It's more, the open angle form is more of a older population problem. As you get 60 years and older, the aqueous fluid does not drain out of your eye as rapidly as it did when you were younger. So people who are older than 60 are a little bit higher at risk. If you have a family history of glaucoma, elevated eye pressure, if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, those types of folks are a little bit more at risk. An eye injury, long-term steroid use can increase your eye pressure. There's a couple of race and ethnicity factors. Black or African American adults are at higher risk to develop glaucoma. And mis Hispanohablantes amigos, Hispanic and Latino adults are more at risk for the open-angle glaucoma. So those are the categories of major glaucoma risk. How's it diagnosed? As you go to your eye care practitioner, they should always do an eye pressure test. Eye pressure is one of the factors in the diagnosis of glaucoma. Glaucoma is a complex eye disease, so there's a lot of factors to be considered. Also, if the practitioner feels a peripheral vision test is indicated, most eye care practices have a specific instrument called a visual field machine, which you put your chin in a chin rest. There's lights flashed in a perimeter that you look through, and you push a little buzzer when you think you see the light. And that tests your peripheral vision. That is a very good instrument to measure your peripheral vision.
So I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is the pressure test, is that the puff test one that we do?
Well,
or is that something else?
That's called a tonometer. The machine that measures your eye pressure is called a tonometer, and there are different forms of tonometry. One is the air puff. There are other types of eye disease, eye pressure measures that a numbing drop is placed into your eye with some fluorescein, and an instrument actually touches the person's eye. They can't feel it, but that gives probably a better, accurate, more measurement than what the air puff does. But the air puff is a machine that does measure your eye pressure. So that is part of most people's vision exam when they go see their eye doctor, right?
Yep.
Right.
I always get the first one and I do good, and then when I get the second one, I'm like,
Right. Yeah, the air puff's a little disconcerting sometimes because you're waiting around for that second one, and you sort of jump when it hits your eye off. So, but there are other ways of measuring the eye pressure. In my particular office, I don't use the air puff anymore. I use what's called an applanation tonometer, one that actually touches a person's eye. But of course, they don't feel anything because I've instilled some numbing drops in before I use the applanation tonometer. So we talked about eye pressure. We talked about how's it diagnosed with the visual field testing for candidates that are glaucoma suspects. There's also a machine called an ophthalmic computerized tomography, or OCT, which is a very valuable machine. It takes a picture of your optic nerve, and it gives you a report on health of the optic nerve fibers as they enter the optic nerve. So that is also a valuable test to have as part of your examination. Other things that we can talk about is prevention and treatment. If your eye care practitioner feels that your eye pressure is too high, outside the normal range between 10 and 21, there's no real cure for glaucoma. It's more or less just to control your eye pressure. There are different kinds of eye drops. The most common eye drop is one that does one of two things. it either reduces the amount of aqueous fluid that is produced inside your eye, or it opens up the drainage angle to allow the aqueous fluid to drain out of your eye easier.
Okay.
Those are the two main eye drops, and there are different prescriptions. They work different ways, but basically those are what is happening with the eye drop part of the treatment for open-angle glaucoma. As you get into more advanced cases, there's a laser procedure that can be used to open up the drainage angle. Your eye surgeon would do that procedure. And there's also, for advanced cases, there's some actual eye surgery that is part of the treatment plan for advanced cases of glaucoma. So glaucoma, like I said, it's a complex eye disease. There's a lot of factors to be considered in the diagnosis and treatment. But it's always good to have all these diagnostic tests done when you have your eye test.
Are those all things that normally would happen in a regular eye exam, especially for an older adult, maybe?
Yeah,
things only if they're
the eye
indicated?
pressure is done on everybody. If the optic nerve looks suspect, then the visual field testing, peripheral vision test would be recommended, as well as this OCT or the computerized tomography is an important test to do too, because that gives the practitioner a lot of extra information to make a decision. Because once you start the glaucoma drops, normally that's a lifelong process.
Okay.
Normally, once you start those drops, you're going to be on the drops for a long time.
Okay.
So you have to really decide if this person is a candidate to start the eye drops. So that's why you may have repeated testing to be sure that that's what the patient needs.
Okay.
Yeah. What other questions do you have?
So, so is an eye pressure test, is that something that starts like in the beginning, like even for young people, or is it something that is done as people just get older?
Well, the tonometry or eye pressure test with children, it's not done so much unless you have a reason to suspect, unless there's a family history of glaucoma. But most, if you're in, I usually start with kids in middle school because they're usually old enough to handle the test pretty well. So we would start with the middle school patients, and then everybody older than that always would have an eye pressure test done. That's just part of the eye test.
Yeah, I don't even remember when I started even getting one. It's just kind of something that always happens every time I go to the eye doctor.
That's a standard operating procedure. When you have a vision test, they're gonna check your visual acuity. They're gonna check your visual, your glasses prescription, and they're gonna do eye health related testing. And one of those is the glaucoma test or the tonometry, right?
Aside from, I don't know, like if you're doing something that's hazardous or sports related, wear protective goggles, or even hobbies or your profession or whatever. If it's something that's dangerous, something can fly up into your eyes. But are there other preventative things that we can do to promote our eye health?
Well, sure. Anytime you're in a in a work environment, in a factory, most of those folks wear protective eyewear. If you play sports, anytime you have a tennis ball or a baseball that's going to be coming towards you, you should have protective eyewear. The racket sports particularly are very important. Racquetball, if you play racquetball, is not so much maybe getting hit in the eye with the ball, but that can happen. But it's you're in close proximity with someone swinging a racket at you.
Oh, I had never thought about that.
And so the racket itself, I've seen injuries with the people who have got hit in the eye with the racket.
Oh my gosh.
And that can really cause some permanent damage, trauma to your eye. You know, something else now that with racket sports is of all things pickleball.
I was going to ask about that because it's a wiffle ball. So if you got hit in the eye with the wiffle ball,
pickleball is becoming more and more popular, and we have a pickleball group that plays out at the Y on three days a week, and those folks should wear some type of just regular glasses or wear some sport glasses to protect their eyes from getting hit with the pickleball or with somebody's paddle that's swinging right at you there.
Yeah, I think I would be afraid of the paddle hitting me. And you know what? I don't know if I would have actually thought of that because I would have thought, pickleball, it's a wiffle ball. If it hits me, it's not a big deal. But yeah, the paddle. You're in close proximity with someone swinging a paddle. Even if you play doubles, you have a partner there that's helping you. But you're in their range of swinging the paddle. So you want to prevent your eye from getting damaged by the pickleball itself, but also the person swinging the racket that's beside you. I think sometimes we forget also, like even something like mowing your grass. Or anything that's flying up. I mean, I wear my glasses, but I've managed to get grass and particulates and stuff in my eyes, even wearing my glasses and my sunglasses.
Yeah, any type of probably outdoor activity, that you have dust or particles flying in the air, some kind of eye protection, sunglasses, or just something to prevent the dust and things and particles from getting into your eyes would be a good idea.
And I was telling you when we were off the air that I'm trying to remember to actually use my eye drops because I'm supposed to do it like 3 or 4 times a day, and I can never remember to do it, let alone where they're located. So I'm trying to be better. 2026.
Good.
I'm
That's
trying
a
to be
good
better.
idea.
So, Eric, see, because I know you're watching. See, I actually did my eye drops today. But
one of the more common first eye drops, prescription eye drops that is used with open angle glaucoma is one drop in both eyes at bedtime.
Okay.
So
I'd be better off at remembering that. I don't have glaucoma.
Most people can remember to do that. But when you have multiple drops, or if you're instilling them 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes it's easy to forget.
Yes. Yeah. Or even where I've put the package of them. I'm not real good at remembering stuff like that either.
Right.
But I'm trying to be better in 2026 because I'm trying to preserve my eye health as best as I can. I know there's other diseases of the eye that are common. We hear a little bit about like macular degeneration in our older population as well. Are there ways to prevent that as well? Are they the same kinds of things?
Well, with macular degeneration, there's 2 forms of that. There's what's called a dry form, then there's a wet form. The dry form is just basically an atrophy of the retinal pigment cells. And it can cause somewhat loss of vision. Normally, you still have some vision in cases of macular degeneration of the dry form. There's also one called the wet form. Wet form is a more damaging type in that you have micro blood vessels that grow inside of the retina that are very fragile. And these bleed, that they will bleed and cause bleeding into the back of the eye. And the blood, of course, is toxic to the retinal cells, retinal pigment epithelium cells, and other parts of the retina, and it causes vision loss. And the wet form can cause scarring of your retina and can have some really serious vision loss problems because of the wet kind of the macular degeneration. And also, you have these new vessels, or they're called neovascularized vessels, also with diabetes. And diabetes can definitely cause some vision loss. And so diabetics need to have their retinas looked at least once a year if they're taking any kind of medication for diabetes. Some of the same things that we test in a regular exam, we would do with diabetics, in that we're going to do the eye pressure. We're going to take a picture of the back of the eye with this OCT machine, and that can show us underneath the retina what we can see with our ophthalmoscopes, any type of damage done by the diabetes. But diabetes is a very severe eye problem that can cause permanent vision loss, as well as the wet kind of the macular degeneration, because it has the bleeding into the back of your eye and the scar formation.
Are there signs of that somebody can see, or is it something that only an optometrist
Signs of
would
that
say?
would just be blurred vision.
Okay.
There's no pain. There's no sensation of the bleeding into the back of the eye. It's just blurred vision.
So aside from, like, if you go for an annual exam, if you're like me and you wear glasses and stuff, are there other signs? I know if your vision is blurred, obviously, or you have changes in your vision, are there other things that people should watch for that maybe they should make an appointment before their annual exam? Or if you're not in a habit of going to the eye doctor, if you have 20/20 vision, are there things that you should look for that definitely would get you into the eye doctor?
If you have a red eye, a red painful eye, that is one indicator to get to seeing someone as soon as you can. You have your eye red. It's red. It hurts. In my office, if someone calls them with a red eye, we try to see them the same day, because that's really important. If you have a sudden loss of vision, if you have your vision changes dramatically all at once, that can be a sign of many different things, but that needs looked at. If you have lots of flashes of light or massive floaters, that can be a cause of a retinal problem, as well as a curtain coming over your peripheral vision.
Okay.
So you close your left eye and you look with your right eye, and you can't see anything above, below, or to either side of you. That's an immediate office call as soon as possible, because that may be a sign of a retinal tear detachment, and that needs to be diagnosed ASAP.
Okay.
All right.
If somebody is in an accident, like a sports accident, or your kid gets hit with a ball or whatever,
Right.
is it I would assume it's a good idea to probably, if it's in the eye area, to go see a doctor just in case. I would assume.
Definitely recommend that. Yeah, if you have any kind of an eye injury in a sports activity or in a work environment, or if you're mowing your grass and something blows out of the mower and hits you in the eye, it's probably a good idea just to have an examination, just to rule out any more serious issues.
Yeah, it can be
Right.
kind of scary. We don't want to mess with our vision. It has to last us for a very long time.
Right.
So.
It's a very important, very important sense to be able to function in the world. You have to have good vision, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just your daily stuff like being able to read and stuff, but just being able to navigate the world and be independent. We all know that if you lose your vision, you lose a sense of your independence.
That's right.
As well. So especially as you get older, we don't want to lose our independence and be able to care for ourselves. So making our vision last until the end, I would think, would be pretty high on the priority list. This it is for me. It's a pretty high on the priority list.
Definitely.
So, yeah. What else can you tell us about eye health?
Well, what we haven't talked about much is the other form of glaucoma, the closed-angle glaucoma. This is a little more rare, but what happens with that is that the pressure of your eye would build up very, very high. The normal eye pressure is 10 to 21. If you have eye pressure in the 40s and 50s, that is where the drainage angle we had talked about before completely closes. And there are different reasons for that. One is advanced diabetes, where you have blood vessels that grow into the back of the eye. Well, they also can grow in the drainage angle to prevent the fluid from exiting your eye. That's one thing. If you have an acute angle glaucoma attack, that is an ocular emergency. That needs to be treated immediately. Signs of that would be severe eye pain, a bad headache, blurred vision, colored halos around lights, red eye, nausea and vomiting with eye pain. That could be the sign of a narrow angle glaucoma, where your eye pressure shoots really, really high, above 40 usually. And that can cause permanent vision loss, and that needs to be treated right away. There are drops and other ways of lowering the eye pressure, and for a permanent cure for that, the eye surgeon uses a type of a laser that makes holes in the iris. The iris is the color part of the eye. With the people who have narrow angles, the eye surgeon uses a particular kind of laser to make a hole into the iris or colored part of your eye. That allows the fluid to flow from the front of your eye to the back of the eye and helps to prevent the angle closure attacks. So once again, signs of that would be severe eye pain, bad headache, colored lights around, or colored or halos around lights, a red eye, nausea, and vomiting with eye pain. Those are the signs of acute angle, but that type of glaucoma is a little bit unusual, or it's not as common as the open angle is.
So if somebody has glaucoma, is it generally it's something that affects both eyes, or do you see it where it's like in one eye, or one eye more predominantly than the other?
Unless if you've had type of an eye injury to one eye, then that would be just one eye probably. But usually, in most cases, it's a bilateral eye disease. Okay. It affects both eyes the same, yeah. Okay. So you're going to treat, if you have an open angle glaucoma with an eye pressure of 30 or 31, you're going to treat both eyes with the eye drops, right? Okay. That's the more common, that's what usually is done.
So I know that it's diagnosed or seen first at the optometrist's office. Once you diagnose somebody with glaucoma, do they then have to move on to a specialist, or are they still seen by their general optometrist?
In Ohio and in most states, optometrists have the ability and have studied, taken classes, and have the experience to use the glaucoma drops.
Okay.
So local optometrists are allowed to prescribe glaucoma drops in Ohio as well as in most states. To get to the more specialized type of treatments with laser and the actual eye surgery itself, they would need to see an eye surgeon. Okay. So most of the optometrists, if they treat glaucoma, they're going to treat it, and then if they feel they need to have a consult with a medical eye specialist, then they would arrange that.
Is that, I don't know about this local area because, I'm relatively new to the area. Is that something where somebody would have to travel like up to Columbus or down to Huntington, or do we have people that are within the area generally? Generally, you would have to travel outside of Jackson. Okay. Yeah, for a medical eye specialist. But that would be only if you were much more severe and couldn't be treated with the drops anymore. More advanced cases, yeah. If for some reason you use the drops and the pressure wouldn't come down. Okay. Or if there's some other factors, other eye disease factors that a laser or actual glaucoma surgery would be indicated, then most of the area medical eye practitioners can do laser, but there are actual glaucoma specialists in Columbus at Ohio State and elsewhere that do the glaucoma surgery. Okay. So I don't believe that many of the medical eye care practitioners in our area do the actual glaucoma surgery, which is very, very
complex, and so you need to go to a specialist, probably in Columbus, that does that particular eye surgery.
Because once again, you need to protect your eyes and go to somebody who knows what they're doing. So
Right, one that does it regularly with the glaucoma surgery. You want to go see someone who has experienced and has seen many cases with that. Right.
yeah, I would
right.
think so. Because once again, they would know what they were doing. You don't want somebody
Right. You want someone experienced.
learning what they're doing
right.
on your eyes.
Right.
I had another question. Now I can't remember what it was. With the glaucoma. I was thinking about prevention. Oh my gosh, totally.
Well, with diabetes,
that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking about family history too.
It's as far as preventing the eye problems is just to have your annual vision exam. That's really important. Try to keep your blood glucose under proper levels. I know with a lot of people, they use medication, tablets or insulin shots, and even they use the medication, their blood sugar varies during the day, and it's hard to control sometimes. But you just got to try to do the best you can on that and watch your diet, and because that is one way that diabetics can prevent vision loss, is just try to keep their blood sugar under control the best they can.
I think it's important. I mean, as we get older and we're losing the people that came before us, our parents or our grandparents, is making sure to get as complete of a family history as you can, a medical history, and knowing. I wouldn't have thought to ask about glaucoma, but if there is a family history type of component
Right.
to it, you really should know about that as well. So don't just ask your parents about heart disease in your history or diabetes or cancer or things like that. Ask about if they've had eye problems as well.
Yeah, there is one of the risk factors of open-angle glaucoma or narrow-angle glaucoma is genetics. So, you can ask your relatives and your parents and your grandparents if they have any eye issues, and that would sort of tip you off what to be looking out for yourself.
I know there's, because I have a very strong astigmatism, and I know there's certain things that my eye doctor looks for specifically because of that, that I'm at risk for. But is glaucoma one of those things where if you have vision issues, is that something that you see more people have glaucoma if they already have existing vision issues, or is it just available to the general pop?
If they've had an eye injury for some reason, like getting hit in the eye with a pickleball or a racquetball or a baseball, that may have damaged the drainage angle of your eye, and those people would be at more risk for a high eye pressure problem. Other than that. If you're taking prednisone, if you're taking steroid long term, that can affect your eye pressure.
And a lot of people are for various reasons.
Right.
Yeah. When you had said steroid
Right.
use, I was actually thinking about like more like the weightlifter type of steroids, but I hadn't even thought about like prednisone, which
Yeah.
is
Prednisone
given
is-
for all sorts of issues, breathing issues, and
It's very common
Yeah.
medicine prescribed. Lupus, any kind of like arthritis kind of problems. I mean, if you're on long-term steroids, it's what's called a steroid responder, meaning that long-term steroid use can raise your eye pressure. And so you want to have your eye pressure monitored during those times.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
that's one more thing to watch out for. I know that long-term steroid use has a lot of other issues that affect the body.
Right.
We don't always remember that the body is a complete system, and something that's happening, like in your pancreas, if it's diabetes, it's something that's happening in your pancreas that's going to affect your eye health, and vice versa.
Right.
We don't always think about the whole system. We only think about the one
Right.
one little part, and
Right.
and diabetes and heart disease fully affect your entire system, and they tend to go hand in hand.
I guess
well.
the things to sort of take away from the talk this morning is open-angle glaucoma. There's no symptoms. It's a silent thief of your vision. it can be tested and diagnosed. There's no permanent cure for it, and it can cause permanent vision loss. And so those are the things to take away from our talk this morning, I think.
I think definitely if you're seeing any type of changes in your vision, I like that black mark, like if you're losing your vision on the sides especially, but any type of change to your vision, I would definitely call one of our local eye doctors and get yourself in and take care of your eyes. I mean, you only get two generally, and you want to make sure that they last as long as possible.
Right. Everyone wants to have good vision, for their entire life. So, just get checked out, and then if your practitioner advises you to take an eye drop or see a specialist, things like that, you need to follow up on it.
Now, I know that Dr. Rick is also the president of our local Lions Club here in Jackson. And so did you get involved with Lions? Lions, I know, has a history of promoting vision around the world. Did you get involved with Lions because of their vision mission, or is it just kind of a happy happenstance?
The Lions Club has a history of vision issues. Years and years ago, everybody probably remembers Helen Keller. She was a lady that had blindness as well as some other handicaps, and she persevered and became an outspoken person for disabilities. And she challenged the Lions Club particularly to become Knights for the Blind, and to be able to have vision as one of their primary goals in their club. So over the years, the Lions Club has, throughout the world, has had a history of vision specialty and helping people to not lose their vision with many different projects that they have. So the local Lions Club here, we take in glasses. If you have used glasses, you can bring them to my office, or you can find another Lions member to take glasses, used glasses, and we redistribute those. We also provide vision care examinations, and the glasses our club does for needy individuals. It's just a matter of filling out an application for that, and I got those in my office, or there are other places around town too. So
I know we do the childhood screening too in the schools.
We do the preschool school screening for youth. That's true. We do that every fall. That's a wonderful program to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you can catch them before they start elementary school, then they can see the board, they can see their friends, they can see what they're working on. I talked about that when we first had the Lions in, was that the difference it made for me when I got my first pair of glasses. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what everybody else sees? This is amazing. And just that feeling of finally being able to...
Most little children don't know that they don't see well. So, but the Lions Club, does provide vision exams and glasses for needy individuals. So it's really easy. I just fill in an application, and most of the time they're approved. Yeah.
So if you need to see an eye doctor, or you've got changes in your vision, and you think you need glasses and you can't afford it, reach out to the Lions Club, because they may be able to help you offset some of the costs or all of the costs, so that you can get in and make sure that your eyes are healthy and you can participate in our community.
Right.
So thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
We've put Dr. Billman's information in the contacts, as well as links to some different resources about glaucoma and the video that you saw, and a couple of other videos and resources. So if you have questions about glaucoma or eye health, you can reach out to them, watch it, frequently asked questions. If you are having issues with your eyes, or you've forgotten to make your exam, call and get on the schedule with one of our local optometrists. Dr. Billman's information is in our contacts, as I said, and take care of your eyes. You only really get the two, and there's options if if something goes wrong, but we don't want them to go wrong. So.
Right.
So thank you again for joining us.
All right, my pleasure.
So we will be right back with Pete Wilson and our local news right after a word from our sponsors.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
Always.
And we are back with Mr. Wilson and the news.
All right. Well, guess what's in the news?
Ice,
you only
snow, weather?
You only get one guess. So, that's what we're going to start off with. I know everybody's been, watching the weather. They know that we're going to get hit pretty hard. And I'll give you the very latest. I checked it just before, I came on the air. Indeed, there is a winter storm warning now. It's gone from the winter weather advisory, special weather statement to winter storm warning. That means we are going to get something.
My phone dinged while we were here on the air to tell me that we've got a winter weather warning in Jackson County. So.
Right, exactly. And I'm guessing that there's lots of winter storm warnings across the Midwest and even in the South, from what I understand. 7 a.m. Saturday to 7 a.m. Monday is the official. But to kind of cut that down a little bit, what is expected is about a total of 9 to 12 inches. Not as much as we had thought before, but even that's plenty. But maybe a little bit of what they call a wintry mix, which means maybe some ice mixed in there that will come midday Sunday that will make it a little more treacherous probably than it would if there would have been more snow. But what we're expecting is late Saturday night, probably 10 p.m. or so, we'll get the first snow coming in. And, this is all subject to change.
Yep.
1 to 2 inches of snow. And then during the day on Sunday, it's going to be snowing or that wintry mix all day long, practically from midnight to maybe 11 p.m. They're expecting 9 to 12 inches of snow and about less than an inch of that wintry mix in there. We'll see whether that's sleet or freezing rain or what it is or rain. But anyway, all the snow is certainly going to be there. So we've had all sorts of announcements from some of our governmental agencies about how to prepare for this a little bit. And one of the things, both the cities of Jackson and Wellston have asked this. They are asking people, I know that this is difficult for some folks who don't have a garage or a driveway, but they are asking for you not to park along the street because we know the snow plows are going to come through and they can't, clear the street completely when cars or vehicles are parked along the street. Also, the truth is if you're parked along the street, and I know some people that's how they normally park, you're going to get kind of you're going to be stuck in there.
I was going to say, you're going to get trapped.
Right. They're going to, whatever snow's there's going to be more because the plow is going to push the snow up against you. And you'll have more to dig out than what you would. So if there's some way that you can do, it's not like they're going to do any towing or anything, but this is a request that both the cities of Jackson and Wellston have made. Exactly what the city of Jackson said. They're asking the public not to park on the side of the roads this weekend, starting Saturday and Sunday. This will help keep the roads clear through better snow control. In Wellston, similar message. Crews will be out working to keep the roads safe and clear. If possible, please move vehicles off the city streets during snow removal operations. According to city officials, doing this helps the plow to work more effectively and prevents the residents' vehicles from being plowed in with more snow than what has even already fallen. So those are some of the advisories coming. There is another one. A lot of people don't realize this because we don't get a ton of snow all the time, but there are official snow routes that are set in some of our municipalities, Jackson in particular. There are some signs that you will see on some of the main streets that it's an emergency snow route. What that means is if there's more than 3 inches of snow, and we're going to get more than 3 inches of snow, you don't park along those streets, because it's very important that they plow those streets because they are the major thoroughfares, whether there's state routes or main residential streets or whatever.
Well, we want to make sure that our emergency vehicles can get through. I would assume if there's an emergency, they need to be able to get through. And if the plows can't plow the roads,
right,
then we can't get them through.
And what they want to do, Cheryl, once they get a path cleared for cars and vehicles, they want to be able to get the parking places too, because people are going to come back to the businesses or their homes or whatever. And, they don't want to turn into a place with 8 inches of snow or whatever if the plow can't get there.
Yeah.
So what are the snow emergency routes? There are signs posted on some streets, but not all. I didn't know what they all were. We've got this posted on the telegramnews.com. We'll have it in the paper tomorrow before the snow hits, the print edition. All of State Route 139, which that does include Vaughn Street and into Broadway Street downtown, Huron Street, Bennett Avenue coming from the south, State Route 776, which comes into town on David Avenue on the west end.
Okay.
And then South Street, 776 is on part of South Street to Broadway, I think. Then State Route 788, that is Athens Street coming in kind of from the east.
Okay.
All right, off Chillicothe Street. And then State Route 93, which of course is the main drag through town from one end to the other, from Morton Street coming from Colton, all the way through the downtown area, through the commercial area, all the way out of town, as you go past Walmart and so forth. Also, East Broadway Street, from Main Street to the intersection of Longworth Street, and all of Huron Street, which is a main residential street there on the south side, all of Portsmouth Street, all of High Street, all of South Street, all of State Street. So you're talking about, the main streets. A
lot of downtown.
The main streets in town and the ones that are the state routes and whatever. And, it's not like it's not a good thing to maybe stay off the sides of the road and even on the smaller streets or whatever. But these are the ones that the city wants to be able to plow first. And so
if you can, well, not even if you can,
they'll just work around you if you got a car there.
You've got to try to keep the cars off the streets if you can. Put them in your driveway or in your garage or friend's garage or friend's driveway or somebody's.
Right, and also be prepared for the levels to be declared by our sheriffs all over, in our area counties, including, of course, here in Jackson County, and then we cover Vinton County too, Sheriff Ryan Kane. And if they get to a level 3, and that might be possible with the amount of snow we're getting.
Well, we had it yesterday. I didn't expect that one.
No, that kind of was a curveball. A lot of people weren't expecting it, and by noon it was all gone. But there was some black ice there that morning, in spots, maybe not where everybody was driving, but it was out there. But anyway, if you get to a level 3, you're not supposed to be out at all. If you didn't get your bread and milk, sustain yourself some other way,
100%.
Yeah, right.
And ways that you can know what level we're at, obviously the Telegram News posts it on Facebook and on the website as well. Sign up for Nixle alerts, or I get ones we got one this morning, from the Hyper
Reach.
Hyper Reach.
Right.
I can't remember what it was. That's the one that dinged during the show. To let me know.
Those are great. And it's an app onto your cell phone, and almost everybody has a cell phone now from 7-year-olds and up. So it's a great way to be notified of emergency situations, certainly weather situations as well. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute, because I know a lot of folks maybe haven't done that, and they're thinking about that. Oh my gosh, why haven't I done that before? I don't know how to do that. Okay, I do want to tell you first, though, about a warming shelter. There may be others that get announced soon, because, after this snow, it's already cold, but it's going to get colder. If the snow's going to hang around, and, if there's electric problems or whatever, you need a place to go.
Yes.
One place we know that you can go is in Oak Hill at the Liberty Baptist Church. They're going to have a warming center, and it's on 323 Bingham Street. They have a gymnasium there that will work as a makeshift shelter. It's going to be open starting this evening, actually, at 6 p.m., and it will be open all the way through next week, the Friday, January 30th. They are deciding that it's going to be open through a week because they've looked at the forecast. They see that it's so cold. Doors will be closed nightly after 10 p.m. for safety. So a warming shelter. at the Liberty Baptist Church in Oak Hill. We also have that posted online. It'll be in the paper as well. Okay, you mentioned the Nixle alerts and the HyperReach. Those are two different ways that you can get some notifications. And I'm not going to go through the whole process, but I do want to say that it's not hard to do. We have those stories already on our website. We're sharing them free on Facebook. They'll be in the print edition of the paper tomorrow, but it tells you how to sign up for the Nixle alerts if you haven't already done it. Also, the HyperReach. And the HyperReach actually will bring you a little bit more information, at least with what has been set up here locally. The city of Jackson is on the HyperReach, and they will use it to alert customers not only of the weather, but of disruptions in public service like utilities. The Jackson County Emergency Management Agency will use it for weather, hazmat spills. In Vinton County, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and the Vinton County EMA also use HyperReach as well. It's really something that it's just not a good idea. You should have it. You should have HyperReach and Nixle, and preferably both, to be fully informed when you're mobile.
We'll put a link to that story in the comments as well, so that way you can go straight to the story if you need directions of how to put that onto your phone, because it is critical that we know what's going on locally, so that you know when you are allowed to be out on the roads and when you really, really, really should be staying home.
Absolutely. And so, this is just another way, your cell phone could be your friend. And sometimes it's just not a good thing to know. It may be an emergency situation through yourself there. So some other good news that we can tell you about is that Assistant Fire Chief of the Liberty Township Fire Department, Larry Foster. We've been following that story. We know that awful accident that he was involved in just a week ago yesterday, Thursday the 22nd. Larry, who has been a firefighter through Liberty Township for many, many years, is currently the Assistant Fire Chief. He's also the Public Information Officer, so we deal with him quite a bit here at Total Media. Freak accident, but man, it can happen out there when, the emergency responders are along a busy highway, taking care of a crash, a fire, or whatever it is. In this case, it was a crash. He was standing alongside a Liberty Township a large pickup truck. Another vehicle came through before they could get the highway closed, hit the fire truck that he was standing next to. The fire truck, the impact knocked the fire truck into him. Compound fractures of the ankle and a shattered knee is the way it was described to me. But had a surgery that same day at Grant Medical Center, is still up there. Had a second surgery to remove, the pins and needles that they put to, keep all these bones together and get it so, they would heal correctly. We understand from Fire Chief Randy Baker, and I know you have got a communication from Larry's wife, Peggy, that he did come through that surgery very successfully. And so don't know how long he might be in there, but the news is that he is mending well and is on the road to recovery. Of course, Larry, so well known in the emergency services community, but also throughout the community. He's one of the pillars of the Christ Church here in Jackson, and he also is the general manager, has been through a long time, of the Jackson County Water Company. So just an all-around great guy, and so sad that what's happened to him, but the good news is they fixed that, and he is healing.
He is doing well. That was another time my phone went off during the show, was an update on Larry.
That was great. Also, some folks in Vinton County, the word was going around that there was a school bus crash up there on Wednesday, and whenever you hear school bus and crash, it's big news. It didn't turn out to be much at all, but we tracked that information down, and we've got that story posted online, and it's in Saturday's paper as well. It happened on Wednesdays. Of course, we couldn't get it in the Wednesday paper, but the patrol was on the scene. This was up on Eagle Mills Road. Actually, State Route 327 off Eagles Mills Road. That's your reference point. Way up there in the northwest portion of Vinton County. School bus was hit by a pickup truck. As it turned out, the highway patrol did not even consider it a crash. The wheels touched. The wheels of the pickup truck and the bus touched. They didn't consider it a crash. There was no damage. There were kids on the bus. Of course, they weren't injured. The drivers weren't injured, including the driver of the pickup truck. So just it even was less than a so-called fender bender because there was no fenders that were bended. But anyway, and so even though that sounds like non-news, we're telling you so you know what really happened. And so that was good news, that nothing much really happened, although I'm sure at the time it was scary. One other thing I wanted to tell you, Cheryl, there was a big political event on Tuesday evening in Jackson. Jackson businessman, very well known, Larry Kidd, announced his candidacy for state representative. The 93rd District State Representative, and Adrian's put up the picture, that's Larry on the left, and some folks may recognize the gentleman on the right. That is Cardale Jones. Okay. Now, for your reference, Cheryl, because I know you're new to the Buckeye State.
I said, wasn't he didn't he play for OSU?
He played for OSU,
okay.
And here's his claim to fame. In 2014, he was a good guy and all, but he was the third-string quarterback. Ohio State had 2 quarterbacks injured. They're going to the playoffs, and Cardale had to step in as the quarterback. All he did was lead them to a national championship in 2014. And so Cardale is, he works some through OSU, but he is out on the celebrity circuit. He makes appearances, and he did on behalf of Mr. Kidd. Mainly football questions for him, but that certainly made that event a little bit more newsy as well. But it's newsy that Larry is running. For state representative, that is some folks there through a posed picture. Larry, of course, on the left. He ran for Congress 2 years ago and came in third in an 11-person race. So he did pretty well there. Then, of course, Cardale. Then Larry's wife, Dr. Cindy Kidd, well-known veterinarian in town. And on the right, everybody knows in Jackson County, Sheriff Ted Frazier. Sheriff Ted Frazier and Cardale have become friends. Okay. Cardale comes here to deer hunt.
Okay.
He likes that, and so Sheriff has him, and he kind of arranged, I think, him to appear on behalf of Larry. But Larry, right now, is one of 3 candidates running for state rep. The current state representative, Larry's a Republican. The current state representative, Jason Stevens, is also a Republican. So we're going to have a contested Republican primary, and a Democratic candidate, possible Democratic candidate, has not filed yet. But she is also well-known, at least here in Jackson. Her name is Jessica Harper. Mm-hmm. She's a social studies teacher at Jackson High School, and she is the president of the Jackson City Education Association. And she is running because she's very concerned about state education funding and wants to be directly involved instead of just being, on the lobbying side. Yes. So we'll always keep you apprised. We're coming up on a filing deadline for this year's election in early February, so we'll be following who is running for some of our local and area offices. Okay. So there you are.
Exciting news.
Yes.
So we are, once again, expecting weather this weekend, so be safe out there. Get your supplies today, maybe early tomorrow if you need them. Make sure that you're stocked at home with whatever it is that you need. And because we may be hunkering down a little bit this weekend. And hopefully it all is done by Monday morning and we'll be back here on the air. But who knows? We don't know. Because
I've seen
projections everywhere from 6 inches to like 18 inches.
Well, and depending on where you live and what the circumstances are, it may be, more difficult, to move around and get out and whatever.
Well, even Wednesday when I left here, so Wednesday we had a little bit of the snow during the day, right? And but when I left here, it was pretty much clear here in Jackson. By the time I got to my house, which is only a couple of miles outside of town, it was still like covered in snow. So, just even small little differences.
Right. Well, the big thing is that I think we know we're going to get hit, but it's going to also be accompanied by bitterly cold temperatures on the back end. And it looks like that they are going to continue deep into the weekend maybe. We're talking about maybe sub-zero overnight.
Yeah,
so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you don't know, facts are facts.
Yeah, and be careful out there because it is going to be icy, and watch for the black ice, the little patches of black ice, right. And we don't want you sliding around and ending up on the news. So there's better reasons to end up on the news than something like that happening. So we don't want that to happen.
Exactly. Just be careful out there.
Yeah. Drive a little bit slower.
Just be careful out there, and don't go to sleep on it. If you need to do things, try to do them maybe before the snow starts
Yeah.
hitting. You got today and most of tomorrow.
Yeah.
If the forecast is that we just looked at is comes true.
Yeah, get your shopping done, get your banking done, anything that would have brought you into town. Go ahead and take care of it today and tomorrow, because Sunday it looks like we're all staying home, hopefully. So that's my plan, at least. My plan is to stay home for about 72 hours. So